The decision by the Swiss authorities yesterday has no immediate impact on this issue. We have made it clear here on a certain number of occasions that in any case, before the EU would consider a Swiss application to the Horizon Europe research program, a certain number of conditions had to be met. One of them, which applies actually to all third countries, or most third countries, is that an overall agreement on the participation of the country, in this case Switzerland, to EU programs in general under the new multi-annual financial framework has to be made. And secondly, in the case of Switzerland specifically, we have always said that a precondition is that Switzerland pays the contribution that is foreseen for cohesion policy, and that is actually the sort of agreement that was reached in view of its participation in the single market for the previous period of the financial framework. So these two conditions need to be met. And then, of course, we have always said, and this is where perhaps yesterday's decision does have an impact, that we would review a Swiss application to participation in EU programs, and in particular in the research program, in light of our overall relationship with Switzerland. Well, this is actually a regulatory condition in the new financial framework, that participation of third countries depends on the fact that there is an overall agreement on their participation in MFF programs in general. It's not about basically doing negotiations on one specific program or another. There's no sort of individual negotiations. You have to define an overall framework for participation in EU programs, and within that context then participation to the specific program, in this case Horizon Europe. So nothing excluded, but of course it is clear that we are going to assess Swiss potential requests to participation in light of the existing conditions, as I've just discussed, the payment of the cohesion contribution and the overall relationship with Switzerland.